especially in these kinds of instances here for the more stressful part of the season. Travis Stark and Karsten start off in third and
Homestead,
respectively.
Still waiting on two cars.
Starting off on the rounding out the top 5 is going to be Michael Thorpe Jr., Tony Brent with a new paint scheme this week. He starts off in the 6th place position. Again, arguably the most consistent driver to not win a race this season. I say arguably. He has admittedly ran into a few issues in the recent weeks, but that has not stopped him from showing up and showing out when he has. Philip Chavez and Jonathan Burt start off on the next row behind them, 7th and 8th place respectively.
You have 4 additional sets of tires.
Both Philip Chavez and Jonathan Burt, consistent mainstays of the
all right, I got everything set
of the top 10, and
just in time
goes for this next row to round out the top 10. Both William Duff and Ryan Lynch starting off in the 9th and 10th place position for both on the throttle racing drivers. Hepperly Telemac and Larry Griffin start off in 11th and 12th. Hepperly in the round of 12 last week, solidified his bid to get into the round of 12 last week.
I got the pole by 1
points.
Hundredths.
Doug Pierce, who coincidentally starts off next to Zachary Lovelace. Lovelace starts off in 13th. Doug Pierce starts off in 14th place. And then rounding out the field is David McConnell, starting off this week in the 22. Just like that.
Cameron's probably going to be good at this track.
On the back straightaway, we're about to go green flag racing here momentarily. McCann starts and all over the rear bumper of the pace car, eager to get the race going, and I do not blame them any bit, especially considering the task that they have ahead of them. Both of them want to solidify their way into the championship four, but first they have to make it through the round of 12. Pace car pulls off to the inside lane, and we are green flag racing here in the Full Send Racing Association round of 12 at Homestead.
All clear, all clear.
My goodness, was it loose. That's impressive. Everybody made it. Hey, struggling back there. Look at that. Look at that. Damn, it's a handful.
Just like that, one lap is complete. We have 132 more to go. Cameron Sargent has fallen back to the 3rd place position. Travis Stark has snuck his way up to the 2nd place spot here. You'll see all the drivers that are playoff eligible highlighted in yellow. Once we get to the next round of cutoff race, then and only then we will start to mark off the drivers that are in the bottom 4.
Hey, Derek.
Next week we head to the Milwaukee Mile,
I hear you, man.
very short, well, very historic racetrack.
You
35 in Milwaukee, but
Pete, my spotter, he's not available. If you want to spot for me, I mean, you don't have to get out of bed and spot for me, but if you ever want to, you can hop in.
drivers battling for the last portion of the top 10. Stage ends at lap 35 for tonight. And all the way down to the inside was Jonathan Burt off turn 4, potentially having a few issues with grip on the exit of turn number 4. But
long weekend in New York and New Jersey.
Chavez sits in place position. There's Tony Brent.
I've only been there once. That was New Jersey. I didn't go to New York.
So look this time from the back bumper of Hunter.
10-4. Oh man, I still got the bad stuttering issue. Had it real bad last night at Texas. Got it again here. Or if this is night races.
See Carson sliding up a little bit. Looking to the inside is Tony Brent, and in fact he is on the inside as he makes his way into turn number 3 and up to 5th place. Carson though tries to squeeze, but no dice just yet. Just a little bit too early on to stop the momentum of
Real bad in turn 1.
Meanwhile, up front, I believe, Shadow Star has closed the gap ever so slightly between himself and Brian McCann. And with where everybody is running now, let's go ahead and direct your attention to the live points standings here as we move into the first portions of this event. You see pretty much everybody in the top 8 on track is in the top 8 in the championship standings. Lovelace, Heberly, and Ryan Lynch not having the best days just yet. William Duff is here. Is sitting in the 9th place position. Not sure as to why he's not being shown here, but he is here nonetheless. And the gap between Jonathan Burton, Heberly, Telemac for the 8th place in the championship standings is already to 1 point. I said this at the start of the season, knowing full well that it would matter, and it does matter here especially. 1 point and even 2 points in this race can matter for the next portion of whether it be the next race directly, the next round of the playoffs, what have you. Everything here matters. It's going to be showing itself for sure.
Zachary Lovelace disconnect? Uh-oh.
As they're in was effectively crunch time. In fact, Zachary Lovelace has taken it behind the virtual wall, and I'm not sure as to why, but a very early exit for Lovelace. This is definitely going to hurt him a little bit in the championship standings here. Currently shown as 15th. Again, William Duff is on track, but not the start that Lovelace had wanted. Especially with stage points playing a factor here into this. The stage points will count towards the total points, not playoff stage points.
Hey, repeat.
Points. And Michael Thorpe Jr. wants to get every bit of those stage points. He goes to the inside.
Yeah, it's a little loose.
A very consistent runner in the top 3 is the 34 machine. Same with Tony Brent, who's lurking here in the background. Again, stage ends lap number 35. Specifically the completion of lap 35, so 26 laps.
Cameron dropped back big time.
Watching the drivers go down the back straightaway.
Travis was thinking about passing me there for a few laps.
Through turns 3 and 4. Brian McCann and Travis Stark checked out for the moment. That's not going to stop Michael Thorpe Jr. from trying to lay his hand at chasing down.
Oh, he's got tight or something. He messed up there.
And again, a relatively consistent mainstay of the top 30 or top 5.
I saw a bobble.
These races. See how things fare. We might ride on board Cameron Sarton here. Cameron Sarton with the Jeff Horton driver seat by the looks of it for this week. You can hear how tentative he's being on the throttle. Looking back from the rear, Michael Thorpe Jr. as he starts to very slowly make his way. Maybe inching ever so slightly closer to the top 2, but last time by, well, lap time comparisons, let's go ahead and go through them here.
Travis is like slow some laps and fast some laps. Either he is or I am.
In fact, Cameron Sarton might have a little bit of a faster lap time, especially since he's going to make his way up to the inside.
I put a little bit more into it that time.
Back straightaway they go.
So maybe it's me slowing up.
Front straightaway, I should say.
Oh, no.
Running way up top is Michael Thorpe Jr. Last time by, Travis Start was the fastest of the top 5. And look at
I started paying attention to tires more when he caught me.
to the inside already. With just above 20 laps left until the stage, 21 laps left at the start-finish line. They'll try and clear the 1 of Cameron Sarton, but no dice at the line. And they'll follow right in the tire tracks of the number 1 machine. Moves up to the higher seam in the middle portion of the racetrack. Can't really find the grip. No doubt the dirty air from the 1 just did not help the corner entry. So Thorpe is going to regroup, reset, and try again to get that 3rd spot. You may see all the way up in the distance as Travis Start running the outside lane in turn number 2, trying to get whatever he can here off of turn 2, down the back straightaway.
He's going to be able to pass me on that outside line.
In fact, this higher lane may be working for the 26. It wouldn't be the first time that we have seen Travis Start running an alternative line
Stay high.
compared to a couple of drivers. It may not be working as of now immediately, as of right yet, but it's definitely closed him to the back bumper. And in fact, it's closed him up so much that he will be able to challenge to the inside lane for the lead in turns 1 and 2.
Still there.
Trying to get, again, all the stage points possible here. Drag race down the back straightaway between arguably one of the most dominant drivers in this season and the league owner, Travis Start.
Oh, he about hooked me.
Right up to the inside as the 26.
Clear low,
Slide
clear
up
low.
higher a
You got
little
one
bit.
inside.
Loses ever so slightly, just a little bit of my grip. Tries to stick to the left rear fender down the front straightaway. And he'll be able to challenge again here. Look at the speed he's able to carry on corner entry. Hard under the brakes just to stay even with the 8 of Brad McCann. Drag race again down the back straightaway. And these laps are ticking by more and more. And the more that these two stay side by side, the more
He's wearing his tires out to do this. I'm trying to conserve,
Tony
but
Brent
still trying to keep the lead.
rides up ever so slightly off the racetrack. He doesn't crowd the 8 of McCann, though. Leaves space. And for the first time since the start of the race,
Because that air is nice.
lead goes to a 26 of Travis Start, but the battle is not over yet. You saw the backfire out of these cars as they try and get off the throttle, slow the cars down to make it through the corners. And still they remain side by side here, down the back straightaway, dead even into turn 3. The gap is still 1.7 seconds between these two and Cameron Sarton, who currently sits 3rd. Travis Start not able to pull momentum on the inside lane as McCann is able to carry that speed up on the middle groove. But even still, look at this corner entry from Travis Start. He's just able to stick it. He's confident with the inside lane. Potentially running the higher lane has saved him just a little bit that much extra of tires to use. McCann was running the inside lane for a few laps, so
We are touching.
be ever so slightly different. And again, just sticking to the inside. You can see how close he is. In fact, I think both of them slid up the track just a little bit. Definitely Travis Start more than
I don't wreck people, Kyle.
Travis Start gives him all the room on the corner exit, but in the corners, he's not.
We just run side by side for 20 laps.
15 laps to go until the completion of the stage. Still side by side. 1.6 seconds is the gap between these two and Cameron Sarton.
Good one.
Stay high. There's the car on the low side.
And granted, this is all just for only one extra point, but again,
all clear.
this matters. Especially with Travis Start, he definitely wants to secure that spot into not only into the round of 8, but potentially even the championship 4. But off turn number 4,
Well, Cameron didn't catch us too much of that side by side.
enough on the outside lane. Travis Start may have used up too much of his tires, and he has fallen behind the 8 of McCann for now. But considering how long these two were able to stay side by side, I don't think this battle is quite over just yet. We'll have to keep an eye on things and see how.
I haven't heard, Kyle.
if Travis Star is able to catch up. Heavily Telemac battling Larry Griffin for the 9th place position. 88
You file a protest?
into this round.
I didn't even look at the rules. I just signed off last night and went to bed.
Doug Pierce last week at Talladega, a dramatic 4-wide finish, if not technically 3-wide by the time we got to the start-finish line, but still an exciting finish nonetheless between Daniel McConnell, Brian McCann, Travis Star, and Heavily Telemac. That is the race that the 88 needed, and this is the race that the 88 needs as well, especially same goes for the 17 of William Duff. Dave McConnell in 22 says, well, no, and dives his way to the inside. Look at this.
Yeah, I mean, that was overly ridiculous.
4 different lines through turn number 4 as they're all scrambling for these last 2 spots.
I'm not sure if that requires a protest. I was just asking.
Occupied by the 77 of Larry Griffin. And look at that, too much speed actually by the 77 into turn 1. Leads Griffin into the outside wall, able to hang on to it though. Dives down to the inside. It should not be enough for any steering damage. One would think, especially 77 would hope, you'd find out down the back straightaway, sends it to the inside. Telemac is comfortable up on the outside lane, not really wanting to move an inch. And despite hitting the outside wall in turn 1, it is Larry Griffin, I think, barely at the start-finish line for the 9th place position. Still trying to get out that speed.
Oh, well, boy, I can't wait to see it.
Proves successful. Just barely, although it was not enough time though. The 88 was just able to put the nose there up to the outside. But Griffin is able to power onto the inside lane. Will he slide up to protect from the 88?
You got one inside.
Indirectly, yes.
Still there.
Just like that, we are 10
All
laps
clear, all
away
clear.
from the completion of the stage. And look at this momentum that we have caught, especially momentum that Travis Star
one
was able to
outside.
catch Brian McCann at off the exit of
Still
turn
there?
2.
Hold your line.
Just like that, immediately and
car is
very
clear.
quickly
Stay low.
is
There's
able
a car
to
on the high
clear
side. The lead
the
is
8 of
ended
Brian
up
McCann off turn number
34.69.
off turn number
Stay low.
2 into turn 3. And now it's time to reverse of what we had just seen earlier. This time
You're
it's
clear high,
Travis
clear
Star
high.
up on the outside lane, although this time he's using the outside lane, not just sitting one car width above the 8 of Brian McCann. And he clears Brian McCann off to number 2. Remember what I said about resting, regrouping, and trying to go at it again? You see again the backfire. That is how much these drivers are out of the throttle here, as opposed to being on the throttle.
Yeah, man. I'm sick.
Fascinating seeing how much these drivers are lifting off the throttle. The backfires,
Everybody's sick.
where you can clearly see just how,
Looks like Cameron's running that outside line, catching up to us pretty good.
but they are lifting by a huge amount just to keep the car under control. Let's ride on board Brian McCann for a lap around Homestead before we get to the end of the stage here.
Yeah. This is the first playoff race. The camera's doing work on that top side. I guess I gotta learn how to drive it. Damn, she don't want to go in. Damn. I thought I went in too easy. Yeah, what sucks is I didn't practice it.
From that onboard, we could hear he's not downshifting. He's not in a low enough rev range to warrant downshifting. It's just not worth it at that point. And even then, if you're running so slow to the point that you are downshifting, you might need a change of tires. Looks like this. We are now at 5 laps to go, and look who's trying to approach here. Now that we get to the end of the stage, 5 laps left until the end of the stage here, as
Cameron's gonna come up here and win it.
is closing the gap. 0.6 of a second between himself and Brian McCann about 8 tenths of a second, 9 tenths now to himself and Travis Dart. So he has closed up by roughly about a second over the last few laps. Can he close up to get that one extra point that the second place position at this stage could award? Side-by-side battle for fourth place, and just like that, it's immediately finished up. At least I say that. Tony Brent thinks otherwise. He'll dive down to the inside of Michael Thorpe Jr. in the 34. These two battling for fourth place by the end of the stage here. No doubt if they keep battling especially a lot and maybe even make contact, it could bring in Hunter Carson for a surprise top 5 by the end of the stage here. There is Brian McCann. We haven't really seen anyone able to necessarily challenge Brian McCann's pace for to the point where anyone can consistently stay in front of Brian McCann for long periods of time. We've seen it with Cameron Sarton and Zachary Lovelace at the Red Bull brand, but they haven't.
I'm not going to be able to pass him
during a full race.
I can barely keep up with him.
2 laps left in the stage. This is the battle.
I got to look at my tires, see what I'm doing wrong.
Just off screen, ever so slightly, is Travis Dart as he leads. Brian McCann trying to close the gap to the best of his abilities. Tony Brent and Michael Thorpe Jr. battling for fourth place. We'll catch up with that battle here as we come to the final lap of the stage. No cautions at the end of the stage, just points awarded. And so far, it might prove successful for the
3.0.
Although leaving
Hey, Brandon, how's it going?
Open like that could put him at risk of losing that 1 point. Granted, it's only 1 point, but we've seen how much 1 point.
I wonder if a caution's going to come out.
Dart protects the inside lane. Through turns 3 and 4 they go. And with a very successful win of the first stage, it's Travis Dart.
I guess not.
And Cameron Sarton, your top 3. Tony Brent is successful.
There it is.
Yeah, it's fourth place.
No, wait.
Place
There it ain't.
for Hunter. No, Michael
Thank you.
Jr., 6th, Ron Carson. Phil Chavez, 7th, 8th.
Thank you, repeat.
9th is David McConnell. Correction, 9th is Ryan Lynch, 10th is David McConnell. Now that we have the stage out of the way, it is now time to focus on the rest of the race. Now that everyone can relax a little bit. You can't really relax for
I
too
might have to take the outside line just because I can't get on the throttle. Yeah, look at him. He's able to do the outside line better than I can.
under the sights and the sound
I didn't practice it. That
Got
sucks.
one inside.
of the Homestead Miami Speedway under
Stay
the
high.
lights.
There's the car on the low
And
side.
the very unwarranted sight and
Stay
sound
high.
that
There's
Brian
the car on
McCann
the
is
low
having
side. Clear
is
low,
the
clear
sight
low.
and the sound of the one of Cameron Sarton, not only in his rearview mirror, but to the inside, down the inside into turns 3 and 4, and fully past and in front of him. Cameron Sarton defends the inside lane, and a slight slide from the 8 of Brian McCann as
This is a big tire wear track.
Sarton has moved himself up into the top.
Cameron was down by like 2 seconds at the start. Now it's all coming back to him. Plus that 2 wide racing me and Travis did probably didn't help out either. Wreck him.
Looks like down pit road, Michael Thorpe Jr. and Headley Telemac are going to be the first two drivers to pit here, 40 laps in. And of course, leave it to Michael Thorpe Jr. to have the unfortunate spot of a pit road just behind the camera. But Headley is also
Next week is Milwaukee Mile.
4 tires and fuel for both drivers. You see the left.
I like that track. I don't know if I'm going to be faster. I just like the track, though.
In fact, Michael Thorpe Jr. had
That flat track.
pulled it behind the virtual wall. And a second surprise retirement. Michael Thorpe Jr. has, despite completing the stage and seemingly not having any issues, he is the second driver now. That is genuinely fascinating. I wonder why Lovelace and Thorpe have decided to pull it behind the garage. They've decided to not finish the race. We'll see how this fares. Meanwhile, for the lead, it is, well, it was side by side for first place. Cameron Sarton with a very aggressive defense in front of the 26 of Travis Start. Proved successful. I don't know if that was a slide or just a very aggressive closing of the door on the 26 from Cameron Sarton, but regardless, Cameron Sarton is now in the lead here at lap 42, coming to lap 43. Travis Start, we see, tries to make his way to the inside. Cameron Sarton running all the way up top on the outside, but no dice for the 26 to challenge the 1 of Sarton. We'll see if we can get the stage points updated here as we are side by side for 4th place once again. This time it's Tony Brent and Hunter Karsten. Karsten to the inside. Tony Brent not necessarily putting up much of a fight just yet. Will he cross over to the inside lane on corner exit? No, not necessarily enough momentum. He does look to the inside, but not enough momentum carried off turn 4 for that to prove a viable effort. But look at this again, just the showcasing of the speed difference between the middle lane, or at least the lane that's, I guess it would be the middle lane in a sense, but showcasing
I thought it was 40.
the middle lane and the very inside lane.
Oops.
It's absolutely astonishing. Brian McCann, the first driver on the lead lap, third driver on the lead lap, technically speaking, to go into pit road. We'll see where he gets shuffled out and which drivers are going to be following suit.
Oh, well, I was wearing them even. I guess I'm just wearing them too much.
Drifting up to the outside lane. That lets the 3 of Ryan Lynch pass by the inside for 6th place on track. Here comes Cameron Sarton. Look at Travis Dart carrying also a huge amount of speed, and just barely both drivers able to get it down to the allotted speed on pit road. There's Tony Brent in the background. He makes it in as well. No issues for him. Phil Chavez as well comes down to pit road. And this is where about half the field is split on strategy. I say half the field, it's all but 4 cars now, all but 3 cars, because here comes Doug Pierce to pit road. One would probably be correct to wonder at this point, what do the top 3 drivers do? Hunter Karsten stays out. Ryan Lynch, does he decide to stay out here for second? He does. What about William Dove? Yes, both on throttle racing drivers do stay out. Guardian O Sports, Hunter Karsten stays out as well.
You're in 4th place.
You see him move to the pit road this time by for Hunter Karsten. No, he's going to try and potentially bank on a caution. What about Ryan Lynch in the
It's 57, 57
what?
on the right.
Well, yeah, even William Duff, he also stays out. This is quite fascinating. No doubt these drivers trying to bank on the caution. Travis Start in pit road for a second time. Did he get a pit lane speeding penalty last time by? Or did he forget something? No, it looks like it was a pit road speeding penalty. No fuel, no tires. This is going to cost the 26 big time here. We'll see. Sits on pit road for 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 seconds, 27 seconds. I believe a pit road speeding penalty here in iRacing is at least a 40-second stop and hold penalty. We're at 35 seconds now. There's Hunter Karsten in his pit box. 38, 39, 40. No, he's just sitting in his pit box. This is absolutely astounding. I genuinely don't know what's happening with the 26. If it was damaged, then we would have seen it. There goes Hunter Karsten out. He'll shuffle his way up back to about 6th place for the moment. It's been a minute, and Travis Starr is still sitting in pit road.
You're in 3rd place.
Already, just like that, we have 3 drivers who are championship eligible in the championship 12, and they're on the bottom 3 portion of the field right now. And throughout all of this, Ryan Lynch and William Bell still have not yet gone to pit road, utilizing the convenient timing of the on the throttle portion of our banner, no doubt, on the timing bubble. Travis Starr still sitting in pit road. He has not pulled it behind the wall, but he is still sitting in his pit box. He is still in his car for now 1:48 seconds. Ryan Lynch does not want to go to pit road. Yeah, no doubt these two end up deciding to go to pit road. They will go down the pit road together as they are a part of On Throttle Racing. Travis Starr still has not yet left his pit box. 2 minutes, 17 seconds and counting. I actually cannot believe this. We'll see if we can get your point standings updated here as of the completion of the stage. In fact, we can show you the live point standings as things are right now. So let's go ahead and get that on your screen. Travis starts almost within 3 minutes, still sitting in pit road. This is taking into account the current stage points. Ryan Lynch, because he is leading, would technically automatically advance into a secure spot into the round of 8, but we'll have to wait and see how things shake out here once he goes to pit road. Same goes for William Duff, but regardless, Brian McCann would be net leader at 1,068 points. At this point, I'll just skip the 1,000, but Cameron Sarton second with 52, Tony Brent 35, William Duff also 35 as he currently sits second. Hunter Karsten 31, 30 at...
What happened to Travis Starr was the one that got the penalty? Damn.
Jonathan Burt.
He was running strong, too.
Travis Starr 1,029, 1,028 for Heavily Telemac. Zachary Lovelace 1,026, Michael Thorpe Jr. 1,023. I know I was going to skip the 1,000 portion, but just decided to pick it up right there. But very interestingly, for Jonathan Burt and Travis Starr, they are tied. Jonathan Burt could, if he gets one more spot, immediately put himself ahead by, granted, only 1 point, but he could still put himself ahead of Travis Starr and have a couple shock exits, if you ask me. Ryan Lynch.
That's one hell of a penalty.
I think at this point, not only banking on the caution, but trying to go for a one-stop strategy. Pretty much everybody is on the lead lap.
I told you Cameron's going to be strong at this track.
Last portion of the top 10 for that lead lap battle. It's Heavily Telemac and David McConnell side by side.
I think he thought about coming up.
It's David McConnell ahead of Telemac.
He jerked it right a little.
McCann, Cameron Sargent side by side. These two know each other so insanely well. Same goes for the 33 and 34 of Zachary Lovelace and Michael Thorpe Jr. respectively. Those two are also known to just hover around each other on the track very conveniently. And these two are battling for what is essentially the net lead, as both drivers are quite a ways away ahead of Tony Brent, who could be in that third place after everything is said and done. But the main question is,
what is the leader's strategy? Ron Lynch and William Duff.
Pit road.
They can't split this thing in half, can they?
Sitting in this car out of technicality, it's been 5 minutes, 45 seconds.
I made a last-minute steering ratio change, and I'm kind of regretting it.
We are closing in on the halfway portion of this race. That'll be about lap 67. I'm entirely sure if Travis Starr had a preemptive hardware failure, or if he did have a hardware failure, then I'd say preemptive, because it would have just been something that he knows before he had gone to pit road, rather than something that would have just happened immediately on track. Right now he is 12 laps down, not technically considered out of this event. Larry Griffin and Hemper Tomac battling for the last spot in the top 10.
Yeah, because we're about to
see that 1 point.
About to catch him here.
Tied with Zachary Lovelace at 1,020.
But he's still good. If he's able to split in half, he's still good right now, though, I believe.
First, without his teammate.
What does he got to get to?
And it's not at the halfway point.
So he got the 61, so he can't make the finish.
This time by. Does he finally decide to give up the lead? He has Doug Pierce behind him, who will unlap himself and be the, I'd say the last driver in the lead lap, but not necessarily.
The leader is pitting now.
So does Ryan Lynch go pit road? Yes, he does. After staying out for so long, here comes the 3 of Lynch to pit road. And just like that, lead goes right over to either Cameron Sarton or Brian McCann. No one really knows yet, because these two are still so close to each other together. You see how the points shake out now that everyone is starting to shuffle their way past both Ryan Lynch and William Duff. Closing in on the halfway portion of this race. It is lap 62 here at the Homestead 200. But out for the lead is not over just yet. And even still, if it was, Ryan McCann is relatively stable, and he's definitely going to make his way in on points already. Cameron Sarton wants to be doubly sure that he secures himself a spot into the round of 8. Was if he doesn't. In fact, these two might have a position switch here to showcase the difference between these two.
Oh my goodness.
This race.
They pushed real hard that time.
Cameron Sarton's at 1,000. Correction. Taking the stage into account, 1,027 points for Cameron Sarton. That is not as of current position.
Oh, I hit the wall.
The stage into account, 1,027, which would put Cameron Sarton at a huge risk.
Oops.
Being around the...
I was trying to stick right with him.
Top 8. Because these are 2 rounds each, they're so rapid fire, it is borderline overwhelming for these drivers, no doubt. Closing in to see who will lead coming to the halfway portion of this race. While we have a chance, let's go through where these drivers started and where they are at now. Well, starting off with Cameron Sarton, he started second and he's currently in the lead. I don't think any more needs to be said for this number 1 machine. Same goes for Brian McCann. Started first, currently sits second. The battle between these two is not over just yet. Tony Brent in the G4 Sim Sport could pull off a sneaky top 3 finish. He starts 6th place, and things look to be going in his favor so far for this race, especially as we approach halfway. 13 of Hunter Carson's start 4th, currently sits in the 4th place position. If you ask me, granted, silent on paper, but I'd say it's a win at the end of the day. Philip Chavez starts 7th, currently sits in the 5th place position. That 101 machine looking to vie his way in the top 8. Same goes for the 6 of Jonathan Burke. He starts 8th, currently sits in 6th. Been pretty well so far. Same goes for the next driver here of David McConnell. Started 15th, currently sits in 7th. Did not take a qualifying time for.
Wow, those stutters. I don't know if y'all can see that or not.
About the bottom portion of the top 10. Larry Griffith.
I saw 5 frames going through that turn.
Driver to put.
That's the worst yet.
If I remember correctly, he currently sits in the 8th place spot. Heverly Telemac sits in the 9th.
How do y'all not see that?
After starting 11th, it's all.
Damn, it's horrible.
Positions gained.
Last night at Texas, it was horrible. Tonight, looks like it's even worse.
To be battling the 39 of Doug Pierce, who also.
What did they do to this game? They didn't used to do that.
He started 14th. He currently sits in 10th and has his sights set on that 88 machine. Ryan Lynch started.
It's real bad right now.
We saw him lead with the number 17 of William Duff, who started 9th.
It comes and goes in batches.
The most consistent.
Like right now, it's smooth.
On paper, when it comes to finishing in certain spots, especially around the end of the top 10. Very consistent pace for those 2 drivers, and their fun.
I just saw a whole lot down the backstretch. A lot.
Their day is not done just
like it went like I'm still getting it.
13 laps down, has opted to stay on track as we have crossed the halfway point. He started in 3rd, but reasons unbeknownst.
It's like it goes into slow motion.
13th, but he will still go ahead and stay out to finish the race regardless. We'll see how.
And then warps back to where it's supposed to be.
34 is out of this race. He started 5th. He is currently 14th. Zachary Lovelace currently sits 15th after starting 13th. Both of those drivers not involved in any crashes of any kind, just quite literal shock exits.
But my frame counter at the top looks solid
for this race. That is a look through your field. We're currently past halfway. We are approaching lap 70 for the final portion of this race. Cameron Sarton leads. Heverly Telemac and Ryan Lynch battle for 9th place. Ryan Lynch goes to 9th. Heverly Telemac falls to 10th. But the battle between Cameron Sarton and Brian Can surely is not over just yet. We'll go side by side here on the Race Line Network, and you won't miss a single bit of the action.
Got one inside.
We'll be back here in a few laps time.
Clear low, clear low.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker.
I don't think the steering ratio change I did help.
Is feeling.
I think Cameron's probably going to beat me anyway. But right now, I can tell where I need the other ratio. I got too much wheel slop.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a diverse group of
I'm going to end up spinning out.
fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
The leader just did a 34.896.
Maybe I should just spend this time trying to learn how to run the high line. I ain't gonna gain or lose anything here.
Got one inside. Stay high. Clear low, clear low. Got one inside. Stay high. Stay high. Stay high. All clear, all clear.
We are back live here at the ever so famous Homestead Miami Speedway.
I ain't got no tire.
The 7th season of the Full Send Racing Series, and where things stand in terms of the championship standings coming into this event has changed just ever so slightly. But coming into this event, this is what we had in store, as it was the number 8 of Brian McCann, who was first place coming into this. This is coming into this event after a dominant regular season. Cameron Sarton, the second most dominant driver, is second with 1,019 points. Travis Start, 1,005 points. Zachary Lovelace, 1,004 points. And then 1,003 points for Tony Brent, with the top 5 being awarded some extra player points for in the top 5. And that is not including wins. And then we have Jonathan
Don't take him out of the race. Just give me a caution.
William Duff, Ryan Lynch, Hamberley Telemack, and Michael Thorpe Jr. all coming into this race tied at 1,000 points.
Do not have a fast repair.
Since that moment, and approximately about 80 laps ago, things have drastically changed by such ridiculous margin that I'm still trying to process this, as we'll go ahead and go back trackside here with your live pictures. This is what things look like right now. This is taking into account Cameron Sarton. If he does win, then he can lock himself easily into the round of 8. Brian McCann currently sits at 1,069 points. Tony Brent, 1,037 points.
Oh, the stutters are back.
Hunter Carson, Philip Chavez.
That's wonderful.
Burt, not only 4th, 5th, and 6th on track, In fact, the entire top 6 on track are the entire top 6 in the championship.
Where's this OBS? I might need to update OBS.
For some reason, still unbeknownst to us, had sat in pit road for a ridiculously long time, enough for him to go 14 laps down. It was not a
I
penalty
need to update everything.
crash. He did not have any damage, but now he's
Said the same thing last night.
dangerously close to the cut line at 1,029 points, tied with William Duff in 8th.
I ain't got the time.
Now, Zachary Lovelace, you see, is 9th in the championship standings. He was the first driver to just pull it behind the garage after running pretty much up until the completion of the stage. In fact, not even that. He ran until lap 7 and had some sort of exit. So, not sure, again, the reasoning as to why Lovelace had to leave.
Sargent's pulling in by like 2/10 every lap.
Not sure on the reasoning as to why he had to leave early either, but they sit on the outside looking in as of right now. Ryan Lynch and Henry Telemack currently running on track 11th and 12th. But those extra points doing Zachary Lovelace some good because he is sitting 9th. So if he didn't have those points, he'd probably be tied with potentially Michael Thorpe Jr., if not just dead last in the top 12. Well, after all of that, what else do we have? Everyone's relatively spread out right now. Kenny Sarton has decided to start off the this portion of the playoffs on the correct note in terms of just being ridiculously dominant. 2.5 seconds, roughly, separates the 1 and the 8. Again, Tony Brent sitting here in the 3rd place spot. I would argue that if Travis Start didn't have whatever issues that he had, Tony Brent and Travis Start could potentially be battling for the 3rd place position, if not in their own little bubble for the 3rd place and 4th place positions. But now, Tony Brent has one extra
The top side sucks just as much as the bottom.
coming into this race, or at least going out of this race. And I would say that's pretty good so far. It's been a while since these drivers have pit. First time they pit, it was lap 40. That was, well, to be fair, that was Michael Thorpe Jr. And a few laps after that. In fact, we do have some stats for this. Let's take a look at the last pit lap on your boards. Over on the left-hand side of the screen, average about lap 45, so we shouldn't really be expecting these drivers to pit up until about lap 90 here. In a few laps' time, we might see, we do have the potential to see some undercuts, some overcuts. No doubt Ryan Lynch and William Duff trying to do some overcuts, but did not necessarily play into their favor. So William Duff currently sits in 8th. William Duff currently sits in 11th, and David McConnell might have something to say to Jonathan Burt for the 6th place position for that number 6 machine. Gap is closing between those two. It was 4/10, and now it's, I was about to say 6/10, and now he currently sits at 4/10 of a second as they go down the back straightaway into turn 3. Two drivers did pit 5 laps ago. It was both Ryan Lynch and Henry Telemack, 2 laps down for both those drivers respectively. No doubt hoping for some sort of a caution or something to happen to get them back into the loop and have a little bit of an advantage, or at least put everybody here on the same page, save for Travis Start. Gap, you see, has visibly closed as we watch the 22 of David McConnell go down to the inside of Jonathan Burt. Off turn 4, it's a side-by-side drag race to the line, and just barely at the start-finish line, it was David McConnell with the advantage. But we still have, give or take, just well over 32 laps to go. About 43 laps, if I'm looking at this correctly.
I wore my front more than I did my rear that time.
That was close. William Duff has also started to sneak his way up to the number 6 machine,
All
and
right,
in
that's
fact,
it,
he snuck his way up so quickly that we can't necessarily get an onboard shot. Down the front straightaway they go. Jonathan Burt has fallen down to 8th place position, but I wouldn't say that's necessarily a bad thing for the 6. Especially if you are William Duff. He had pit 14 laps before both... Correction, he pit 14 laps after both Jonathan Burt and David McConnell. And William Duff is going to make that known. William Duff goes to 5th place, and the reason for that is because, well, pit stops are happening. It is everybody to pit road except William Duff. That surprised even me. I was too busy focusing on these two. Well, I did say pit stops happened about lap 90. I didn't think I'd be practically dead on. Only 4 cars have chosen to stay out. William Duff, Cameron Sarton. Actually, Cameron Sarton's just coming off pit road. That's a lie. Hold on a minute. William Duff and Larry Griffin have yet to pit. Cameron Sarton, here he is, off turn number 4. There's Brian Cam. That is the battle for the net lead. Jonathan Burt, David McConnell leaving pit road on after their pit stops. I wonder, is William Duff going to try and stretch this out to the end of the race, or is he just going to overcut, hope for a caution, and pit with maybe about 30 laps to go?
On the car in front. The gap is
Only time will tell.
Seconds.
Larry Griffin into his pit box.
Somebody almost wrecked.
101. The Phil Chavez slides. He saves it. Just holds on to it. Hits the infield. Goes up into the air. But he just holds on to it. We were that close to having a caution come out. We saw it as it happened. Let's start off on the back straightaway here. The 101 to Phil Chavez pushing so hard. We saw it as it happened.
Cameron, you up? Top or bottom?
And the back end of the car just stepped out from under him. He just holds on to it. Hits the inside, the infield, goes up into the air, but holds on to it. Wow. Let's take a look at that one more time. It's right in car.
Next car is the leader.
I have to commend Philip Chavez for that beautiful car. He was so close to going into the barriers, but he managed to hold on to it. And he didn't bring out a caution at the same time either. That is highly commendable car control for the 101. Taking a look at the field as it goes by the front straightaway here. And wow, he just caught unintentionally the 77 of Larry Griffin having problems of his own.
All clear, all clear.
Not sure what's happening with pretty much everybody today. Where's Cameron Sarton? There he is. Gonna make his way by down the front stretch. Once again, starts another lap. 38 laps to go here at Homestead. Firmly under the lights. And still a long ways to go. William Duff has not pit yet. He is one of the only drivers here to have not pit. We had talked about Larry Griffin. He did go to pit road 3 laps ago. Phil Chavez looks to the inside. This is not for position between at least William Duff and the 101 and the 17, although there is a battle between Philip Chavez and Jonathan Burt here for the 7th place position. Our William Duff, honestly, I would maybe start to go pit road. He is banking on a caution coming out with the entire top 5, if the caution will come out, the top 6 being on the lead lap, William Duff included, so he wouldn't lose that much track position, but I don't know how viable that would be. The 101 of Chavez is the only closest incident that we've had to having a full course caution for tonight.
moving away from the car behind.
Which going back to back with oval-free races, or caution-free races for ovals would be absolutely fantastic.
The leader just did a 33.935.
I'll say hi here, Ryan.
See the move to the inside by Jonathan Burt on Philip Chavez. That is for P7 on the racetrack. Let's go ahead and bring up the points. Where would this place both of these drivers? Burt and Chavez side by side on track. Well, they would be 7th and 8th. They're effectively trading this 1 point back and forth, I think, between these two. 100, yeah, they're effectively trading this 1 point between each other. There's Chavez start. So 7th and 8th on track would get them either 7th or 8th in the championship standings going into the round of 8 in 2 weeks' time. Next week, into the Milwaukee Mile for 135 laps. I still have a long ways to go here, and it looks like Jonathan Burt and Ryan Lynch will be going side by side. 6th, 7th, and 8th on track. 6th, 7th, and 8th in championship position.
Big stutters.
Championship scoring. So there goes Ryan Lynch. He falls back to 8th place, and he effectively should be, actually, no, he is tied with Travis Start now. So this is a slightly precarious position for Ryan Lynch, a little bit. It's one thing to be tied on points going into it's one thing to be tied on points being on the same lap as another driver. It's another thing to be tied on points with other drivers. Oh, wait a minute, William Duff. Yes, he has finally gone to pit road. So I'm dropping multiple positions. I was a bit concerned there for a second, but luckily it's just a routine pit stop for that number 17 machine. Paying so much attention to 7th through 8th on the racetrack that that slipped past the radar. But back to the original point where it's one thing to be tied on the tied on points with a driver that's on the same lap. It's another thing to be tied on points with a driver who is, checks notes, 12 laps down at minimum on you. But that just showcases the consistency that has paid off for Travis Start in the latter portions of this season, that he can afford to be 12 to, well, 14 laps down in total to the leader and still be 7th place in the championship standings. It's not the most calming thing, but he still does have at least those extra points available to him. Same with the stage points going into the Milwaukee Mile for next week. If he does get a stage win, then hypothetically he could really secure himself a spot on points alone, but we'll see how things fare. And in fact, speaking of being secured on points alone, I don't believe anybody would be, aside from the winner of the race, if they are a championship 12 driver, I don't think anybody would be necessarily locked in on points by default. There might be the 8 here of Brian McCann. Again, the most amount of points you can score without needing a win is 45 points, and that is per race. Brian McCann would have to be 45 points above the cut line. As of now, Brian McCann is 41 points above the cut line, so he does not mathematically advance to the next round, although if he gets so much as maybe about a 6th place or higher going into the Milwaukee Mile, he should be able to mathematically advance himself. We'll see how things fare in the meantime. But as of now, the names are yellow in this little graphic there in the bottom right, but that will change for
I got a cough again.
Who are advancing into the next round. So as of now, technically everybody's advanced, but that can change, especially with how wild that everything is and how how volatile everything is on points. Probably best of the graphic just stay with yellow for everybody. Phil Chavez, Jonathan Burt now battling for the 5th place position. Not only have these two been battling each other, but these two have been making their way up the field together. And what a performance it is from both of these drivers. There goes Jonathan Burt, looks to the inside, decides against it.
Outlap.
I know, everybody's got it.
Old tire monster.
This one ain't too bad, though. It's like a cough and slight runny nose.
No doubt, both of these drivers deserve their praises, especially for the performance that they've been giving off this race so far. The sixth car in 6th place. Now 25 laps to go at the start-finish line. A lot can still happen, but this could just be a run to the end like it was for Talladega. Although for Talladega we had 4 drivers all the way up the pace because 3 of them sped. One of them got a bad pit entry, I believe. If not, at least 4 of them sped. So they're on their group of their own by the end of the race. I didn't stop Talladega from being Talladega and providing a entertaining finish as always.
Well, we got 3 cars on the lead lap.
Cameron Sarton continues to lead here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. 24 laps to go at the start-finish line. So far, so good. I said earlier,
10-4.
which might have been the commentary's curse in hindsight. I did say earlier that Travis Starr is effectively
We only have 15 cars join the race.
able to challenge Cameron Sarton and Brian McCann.
Green flag run the whole
The
time.
leader just did a
I want to see how things went for
34.585.
these drivers.
Cameron Sarton showing us how to drive this track.
This time by a lot can still happen.
I need to fix my computer. Be nice if I wasn't sick.
While we have a chance, we might take a second side-by-side break here.
I can keep going. My back hurts.
So Doug Pierce, heavily telling Matt, battling for 11th place on the racetrack. These two were quite literally miles apart at Talladega last week, and now, this week, they're battling each other for the 11th place position. Well, only one of these drivers had locked themselves into the round of 12, and that was Heverly Telemac by 2 points. Doug Pierce needed to finish 7th, and Heverly just needed to finish at least 4th to tie. At Talladega last week, it was Heverly that got a 2nd place.
Where's 3rd place at? Should I just drop back and race with him?
1,000
That's Tony.
second
And he's 23 seconds behind me.
over Brian McCann. Well, behind Brian McCann, more accurately. And now we see the story between
Tony and Hunter. Oh, they're racing, ain't they? Or they're close. They're like within 1 second.
Telemac at the exit of turn 2, but he does manage to hold on to it. Ryan Lynch, William Duff teammates swap positions for 8th.
Let me see if I can see who's going to catch you here. Now they're running identical lap times.
2 laps to go instead of going for a side-by-side break. Let's listen to the sights and sounds of the racetrack here at Homestead.
I'm just out here cruising and coughing. How many more laps?
Those are
I
the
feel like I've been racing this race for 2 hours.
Speedway under the lights here
Oh,
with
wrong button.
17 and a half laps to go. Jonathan Burr might want to double check his mirrors because David McConnell is closing the gap rapidly. Last time by the start-finish line, it was only 200ths of a second difference. Advantage to David McConnell.
Nah, I'm over here hitting the wrong buttons.
His tires may have been worn off. These two have hit the same lap. They're on the same strategy. And to the inside goes David McConnell up to 6th. Last time by the line, it was a 0.2 of a second advantage going to David McConnell, although Jonathan Burt is able to capitalize on sticking with the 22 machine because David McConnell had lost grip there off turn number 2 and into the infield pit road. Hold on a second. The infield pit access road, that is the 88 of I really tell him Mac. I had to pause and wait for a second to see if the engine was still running. What happened to the 88? 34 laps. And let's go ahead and take a look back to see what happened to the 88 here. Entry of turn number 1. Off turn 2. Oh, a huge slide. Wow. Oh, man. Oh, and into the inside wall.
We almost had a caution. It would be nice to have a caution right now.
That is definite steering damage. Let's go ahead and
I might can
in car from the
bully Sarton around a little bit off a restart. I ain't got nothing for him on the long run.
Is that steering damage? Yeah, that looks like it. So closely, might be able to hear the tire knocked out the alignment, but that is the. You know what? That may not be the day that the 88. We'll see. Heverly could still salvage at least 1 point over crowd start, depending on how bad the damage is. There, and iRacing is required and optional repairs. If the required repairs is a short enough amount of time, Heverly could still finish ahead of start. That 1 point can help at least a little bit. Could be a 4-point difference between William Duff versus a 5-point difference, and very minimal, yes, but it is better than nothing. In fact, Travis Dart's in pit road as well. What is happening today? He ran for 60 laps, so he's doing a standard pit stop. That explains a lot. This is the closest battle on track here. 6, 7, 8. David McConnell, Jonathan Burt, William Duff, down the back straightaway, all 3 of them go. William Duff looks to the inside to pick up a couple extra points. Well, 1 extra point, more accurately. Look at Jonathan Burt diving down to the inside as well. From up above, William Duff has nowhere to go, and now he has somewhere to go. It could be 3 wide here in turn number 2, but
Oh, 3 wide.
David McConnell.
Caution, please.
17 of William Duff. And just
See if I can watch this broadcast a little bit without wrecking.
any championship scoring position,
34.
David McConnell says, well, you know,
Send it.
the right's racing here.
Wreck him.
He is correct in that sense. William Duff is chopping at the bit to
Hit him.
Through the middle he'll go. A staggered 3 wide through turn 4. Jonathan Burt
Hit him.
cannot keep the grip. And just like that, 2 cars in effectively 1 corner. William Duff up to 6th. But he has to
They're still side by side though.
to secure the position.
Oh, one's in the wall.
Just like that, because David McConnell
He pulled off of it.
momentum
Dang
in
it.
turns 1 and 2. It is the 17 of William Duff up to 6th place with
have 10 to
10
go
and a
this
half
time
laps
out.
to go. Ten laps to go officially now that we cross the start finish line.
It's about bedtime.
Again, this is effectively the closest battle on the racetrack. William
Need a fast forward button.
here is going to set his sights on closing up to Philip Chavez, which could be the next closest battle on the racetrack. Jonathan Burke.
All that racing they were doing, they done got it settled out. There ain't going to be no caution now.
Last time by at the, you know what, we'll hold off. This time by the start finish line, what is the lap time between Philip Chavez, 35.217, to William Duff, 34.942. A huge advantage going in favor of William Duff. He could get a top 5 here, and if I'm not mistaken, this could be his first top 5 of the season. See how things fare in these next 7 laps, because it is going to be very close between these drivers. This is also for the last spot, 1 lap down for the first driver, 1 lap down. If a caution somehow, for any reason, does end up,
It'd be real nice if it was like a green-white checkered caution.
and whoever is currently in 5th as of now could. Whoa! Wait a minute! Oh no! Huge spin to the inside.
Oh, we got one on the track. He spun around.
Is he going to tow back?
Come on, caution.
He'll tow back. I heard that.
Dang it. He was off the racing surface. He was like right below the white line.
Below the apron. That was not worthy of a caution. If he did accelerate
Oh, man.
the racetrack, that would have been a caution. First driver, 1 lap down, is William Duff, and he might have not been saved there. Philip Chavez could have been saved if the 22 did slide up
I looked down, there's a car sitting on the track.
where it would have caused a caution.
Got a little excited.
And just like that, such a good day.
Let's watch the replay.
Go ahead and get a replay to see what
Just me, not y'all.
gone too far back here.
Oh, hell, that was a self-spin.
Time. Exit of turn number 2. Is it the same thing that Heavily Telematic had? Kind of, although more of a fishtail.
That was a self-spin on the straightaway. What?
With nose first into the inside wall. He was that close.
Was he trying to make a caution come out and fail?
So very commendable for David McConnell to hold on to the brakes and not.
Yeah, it was on the back stretch, halfway down to, like
5 laps to go.
right here, he wrecked.
Straight the outside wall as well.
Went in and hit the inside wall, blew his motor up, but stayed on off the racing surface. The guy in front of me looks like he wants to throw a caution out.
The statistics here, and yes, it would be
Let's see if I can get up there and help him with that.
5 that William Duff would have here if things stay as they are. This is absolutely fantastic for the number 17. Again, if things stay as they are, a lot can happen in these next, well, 2 laps, really. 3 laps to go up the line, and with a 4.3 second gap, it is Cameron Sargent out in front, out in full force, kicking off the starting portion of the playoffs here in the Full Send Racing Series. And he could potentially, in 2 3/4 lap time, or 2 1/4 laps time, lock himself into the round of 8 and breathe that
Caution.
sigh of relief. The positions has swapped between Travis Star and Heavily Telematic. Heavily, no doubt the required damage is longer than anticipated. Sitting in the pit box for the past 7, nearly 8 minutes. What a wild race under the lights. It must be a full moon or something.
1 more lap to go. Still there. All clear, all clear.
Whatever is happening, it's definitely well enough for Cameron Sargent. This time by, you see the flag being waved. White flag this time by. This race is officially another caution-free oval race. And not only that, after qualifying on the same row as Brian McCann, this number 1 machine has
I didn't
shown
realize. I thought we
multiple
were
times
coming
throughout
to the
this
checkered
season,
flag. I was
but
gonna
even
fuck
more
with
so
you.
here, that yes,
Never mind, we were a
obviously
white flag.
someone can challenge Brian McCann for the win. And
I was
he is
gonna
kicking
shove
off
you
the
across the
playoffs
start-finish line.
with an emphatic statement. The 1 of Cameron Sarton
what you're doing. I was like,
advances to the
"Right,
round of
it's
8
over."
here at the Full Send Racing Series.
I was just trying to get
driver.
behind you so I could just frickin' shove you across
Brian
the
McCann
start-finish line.
second, and Tony Brent has not crossed the start-finish
Whip.
line just yet. Through turns
I
3
guess
and
you wanted to
4, the
try to
last
make
time
them qualify.
he could have had a potential top 3 finish. I believe he ran out of fuel. That was at Kansas.
Well, it's
This
usually
time,
not him
bias
trying,
redemption
it's him
for the
keeping
number 28 machine.
fucking up during
Another
the
third place
qualifying.
finish for Tony Brent, if he did have a third place finish beforehand. But regardless, a fantastic finish for that number 28 regardless. Hunter Karsten finishes fifth place. William Duff, and rightfully burning it down here on the front straightaway is the 1 of Cameron Sarton.
Thank you, Repeat. All right, man. Have a good one. Why ain't my button working?
As Cameron Sarton burns it down, let's go ahead
Oh, there it is.
and showcase your finishing results here
You too, man. Take it easy.
this evening. It was, of course,
Well, I warm even that time, but
emphatic
I guess that ain't the
kick
ticket.
off the opening portion of the playoffs. Cameron Sarton advances to the round of 8.
I saved a little bit more of that.
Brian McCann,
It
second.
was
third place.
61-60 that time.
We'll talk to those top 3 drivers here in a few moments' time. Hunter Karsten finishes in 4th place, another top 5 to his name, and 5th place it is William Duff, his first top 5 of the season. Jonathan Burt finishes in 7th. 8th place, Ryan Lynch. Larry Griffin finishes in 9th, and rounding out the top 10 is Doug Pierce. Rest of the field is Dave McConnell, and to a certain extent, your drivers that were not able to finish. Dave McConnell had pulled it behind into the virtual garage after hitting the inside wall off of turn number 2. Still finishes in an 11th place as Travis Dart finishes 12th place after, I'm going to have to ask him about that. What happened there with the Singing Pit Road for about 15 laps. Amberley Telemac finishes in 13th, 18 laps down. Not the best way to kick off so far, but we'll go ahead and take a look at the championship standings after the interviews to see where everybody shakes out. Michael Thorpe Jr. and Zachary Lovelace, the only 2 drivers to retire due to non-incidents. So, for whatever reason,
Good run, Brian.
their own end, they had retired early on and not finished this race.
Good race.
Not due to any damage.
I'll take it. You guys are in a class of your own. It was that was a struggle.
So no breaks. We're going to go ahead and get right into your 3 interviews. And we will be starting off with the number 28 of Tony Brent. And Tony, a emphatic statement.
Number 8 of Tony Brent.
Very silent third place finish
28
for you, but regardless, consistently in the top 5, and you pull it off here with a third place finish. A great way to kick off the what I've been saying is arguably the most consistent run of a driver to not win this season. So it's still going for you here as we start off the playoffs.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get a win eventually, but Sarton and McCann are just in a league of their own. So anytime you can get a third, it kind of feels like a win sometimes. And go ahead and take it. And good start to the playoffs. Unfortunately, gonna miss next week traveling for work. Think Travis is gonna work with me there, but excited to be part of it and see if we can make something happen in these next couple of races.
Now, tentatively, let me go ahead and bring this up real quick. I say tentatively because I could be off by a couple points here or there. But right now, as a result of that, you sit with 1,037 points. That is 3rd in the championship standings. Tentatively, I'll have to wait and see what the official
win.
standing to say, but regardless, still a very
Thank you.
going in. Granted, it's
Tell me the secret.
yeah, a pretty good
I
buffer.
don't know.
Saying this correctly. Well, maybe not a good buffer.
I struggled like the first 30 laps, and I was like,
brought up earlier as well. In
how the fuck are they beating me so bad?
buffer's
I
not
was like, I feel like I'm running hard, and I was expecting a lot more tire fall off, and they're really,
you can relax.
even though the lap times fell off, it felt like I never really lost grip.
Come well, it's definitely something you probably have on your mind at least heading into the Milwaukee Mile for next week.
Yeah, like I said, I'm traveling for work, so unfortunately I have to miss next week. But I think Travis is gonna let me take last place points for supporting the whole season. That's what we had talked about. So hopefully we can find our way into the next round. I would like to continue to be part of it. I feel like I've been probably about a third place guy all season. Would like to see it through and see if we can get into those last two races in the championship round and see if we can finally find ourselves a win and see if we can make something happen. But overall, happy with tonight's run, and the Milwaukee Mile is tough. Kind of curious to see what plays out there. Just a tough deal with the way the car counts are right now. It's hard to make up a ton of points one way or another. So stage points become that much more important. So was a big focus on stage points for tonight and racing hard to get every point you can. So curious to see how it plays out. But overall, like, still feel like a third place guy. Just can't quite figure out what Cameron and Brian have going for them. But heck of a run for them again tonight, and appreciate your time.
Before we go ahead and let you go ahead and shout out who gets it done for you for that number 28 machine for your third place finish tonight.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to the 22 of David McConnell. He was back running tonight. And then the 73 of Daniel McConnell. He runs part-time over here as part of our G4 Sim Sports team. And then shout out to all the Texas Speed guys and quite a few of them in the playoffs here, and see if one of us can get it done. So appreciate it. Thank you to you for broadcasting, and Travis for putting this deal on. And
thanks to you for your time as well. We have to talk to you again in 2 weeks' time.
All right, appreciate it. Have a good one.
And that is the third place finisher, Tony Brent. Hopefully
Good win,
we'll be able to see him next.
Thank you, sir.
In two races. I keep thinking need to think about next week too much. Is the driver of the number 8 of Brian McCann, where Brian, I mean, you're pretty much fine going into the round of 8 at this point, even though you weren't able to secure a win this week. The playoff points going into this event, as well as your finish for tonight, pretty much relatively secure. In fact, I'm going to have to double check this one more time in a few moments, but mathematically you're as far as I know, you're very close to mathematically locking yourself in to not even have to worry about Milwaukee whatsoever.
Oh, it's one of my favorite tracks, so I can't wait till next week. I love that flat track racing. I don't know if I'm going to be fast there, but I just like that style of track. So I'm really looking forward to that. And as far as points, yeah, and coming out here and having fun, that's the other side of it. Great, good racing out here.
Yeah, tonight went caution-free despite a couple close calls here and there. But walk us through this, at least especially the opening, I guess, stage in this point between you and Travis Dart. You had a really great run early on, and then Travis, yourself and Travis have battled side by side for a couple laps there going to the end of the stage.
Yeah, me and Travis, yeah, we were door to door, and for like 10 laps or something. I kept seeing the contact points come up, 0x. So we were banging doors around the track, and that was, real fun. Shout out to Travis for racing me clean and hard there. And then somehow Cameron, he found his NOS button or something, and it came from like nowhere and then blew our doors off. So he had it figured out tonight.
That's what I was going to make a slight joke about too, Brian McCann, about is the The fact that he says that you two in the league of your own. I was going to make a joke saying, yeah, it was probably a NOS bottle somewhere in both of your cars, but still a fantastic race here. One of the rare night races as well that we get under the lights. So luckily for you, not having to deal with, well, not only you, but a lot of drivers not having to deal with pretty much melting the tires and the rubber off the car.
Oh, we were still melting them. It was down into the 50s and 60s when we came in after 40 laps. So tire conservation was huge here. And whatever Sarton was doing, he had it figured out. I kept burning my stuff up.
Going into the Milwaukee Mile for next week, like you said, flat track, and you enjoy it so much. In fact, I think we pretty much touched on that, but how often have you run the Milwaukee Mile is the main question that I would have, because it's, I'm not sure if underrated is the right word, but maybe a not often utilized track, the Milwaukee Mile.
I've only probably got somewhere between 5 and 10 actual races on it, but that I can remember. But I just like the oddball tracks, the ones that you don't get to run often, like you run in Charlotte's all the time, your Texas and Homestead, and when you get one of those odd tracks thrown in, I like that.
Well, before we go ahead and let you go ahead and shout out who gets it done for you for that number 8 machine.
Yeah, my family, Travis and everybody else who puts on this league, you for doing the broadcasts, race admin, keeping the eyes on us, drivers for showing up, and our sponsors, huge shout out to them. They make it happen. Thank you.
And thanks to you too. We hope to talk to you again next week.
Oh yeah, I'm out. I don't think there's anything to look at on the replay. Just me and Travis racing, but nothing really